Hashtag no music, no intro. We are back. The Saints Block Party podcast brought to you by Precious Works LLC. For your business website needs, reach out to our guy Bajan. He will hook you up. Woof. I don't even know where to start. I don't even know where to start. This is the Saint Block Party podcast coming at you. Adam, co-host, joined by my guy, Ryan, aka Wolf. If you are watching or listening to us for the first time, we have covered the NFL Combine multiple times, multiple pro days, multiple Senior Bowls in terms of relating to the Saints. And we are recapping the 2026 NFL Draft that the Saints just had. But before we dive into it, I know we talked about it a little bit after our quick Jordyn Tyson episode, but just wanted to just reflect just in general, just the week that was. It was, man, if it, just our community is so special, and just what we've been able, what it has become over, the last 6 years. We had our draft meetup. I think to date, that was our biggest draft meetup thus far.
Yeah,
a lot of people came out, and just the people, the vibe, the energy, and that coinciding, because we've had draft meetups before, and then the draft comes and goes. We're just kind of deflated, but having that excitement of potentially having a very exciting draft surrounded by the community, man, that was special. That was special.
So special, bro. Unbelievable, man. Shout out to everybody that came through, day one meetup. We had a smaller crew at the day two meetup. Expectedly, it was just a boom, let's get together and watch the draft day two. So shout out to everybody that came through. Just much love, man. Best community ever. Best community. I put our community up against anybody, bro. Anybody. in this space or whatever. Shout out to Brock, Bunch, Mark, Dante,
Luke.
Luke came through.
Luke, bruh. Luke.
Everybody. I'm not going to remember everybody's name. I'm old, man. I'm old. But I trust me. Jarvis came through day one, day two. My guy, Neil, man. Much love to Neil. Neil can't, nobody can tell me nothing about Neil, bro. I'll fight behind Neil.
Nobody.
Man. And him and his wife.
Nobody.
That's my people, man. I love them all. And just, thank you for just rocking with us and being, the supporters that you are.
Yeah, it was special.
Chris, shout out Chris, my dog.
Chris coming through. Adam came through. Just everyone that came through it was just really memorable. Patreon.com/Saints Block Party, or you become a YouTube member, $4.99 a month to join our amazing community. But Juice Wolf, these niggas out of.
So this is what it feels like. It's like, what?
Oh, we have been just hitting the drum for a draft like this for 6+ years. Even before we started this podcast,
yeah.
We have been just wanting a draft to be like this. And I think this draft said a lot of things. I think this draft is a combination of a lot of things. Just in regards to, I think this draft is a culmination of when you have not addressed juice for so long, eventually it catches up to you. Just if you're an NFL team, if you have just neglected adding juice, when we say juice, that means offensive players, weapons, wide receivers, tight ends, running backs. When that has been just a theme of it not being addressed, or maybe you try to address it and you miss out on who you select, that comes back to bite you. Secondly, I really feel like, and I want to give some love to Kellen Moore, and we're going to get into it with our other episode that we're recording right after this, Patreon only, YouTube member only, what happened in the draft room. But you can really see the vision of this team. Finally, we have been asking for so fucking long. What is the vision? What is the vision? We've been asking that for 6+ years.
Clearly, bro. So clearly what the vision, you can see it. And we getting, I can't wait to do that What's the Vision episode this year, bro. I actually can't wait to do it because it's not actually a question. Mostly we're
Yes,
asked the
no.
question, what is the vision? Like,
The vision.
please tell us. We have an answer this time. We have an answer.
And what I always love about the NFL draft and free agency is teams, whether they're right or wrong, are letting you know what they feel about the makeup of their team. That's just, I don't care what anyone says. That's what the offseason is you improve your team in areas where you feel like there's a deficiency. This entire offseason, Kellen Moore is kind of taking it. Kellen Moore and the whole organization is kind of taking it by like the scruff and said, we need to be better offensively. We need to surround Tyler Shuck and make sure that at the end of the 2026 season, we will know if he's our guy to ride on with, or maybe we got to make a tough decision in that 2027 NFL draft. But it won't be for the lack of trying and the lack of not surrounding him with an opportunity to succeed. And oh my God, bro, we've been just talking about it, and to see it happen like in real time.
Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. Let me read this to you. This is week 18. Week 18 last year against the Falcons.
Yeah. Let me
hear. We
it.
had Jawan Johnson, Ronnie Bell, Aldrich Estime, Dante Pettis, and of course our guy Torrey. Can't forget Torrey.
Oh yeah, can't forget Torrey, baby.
Did Mr. Tipton play in that game? I can't remember. I don't know. Maybe not. Who cares? But that was our offense. That was the offense we're asking to go and win. And if you remember correctly, the Saints had a very tiny chance to get to the playoffs.
Tiny.
In that game. And there were actually people that wanted us to get in the playoffs. With that. Are you kidding me? And now just that we would have
been picking 19 overall, by the way. Had that happened. Just throwing that out there.
For what?
Just throwing that out there.
Casey consumption. Anyway, now in one offseason, Kellen Moore and Cole have just completely flipped that, bro. When you look at the whole offseason, when you look at go and get David Edwards at guard, filling a complete black hole at left guard. And they're taking that hole and filling it with a top 10, top 15 type guard, Pro Bowl level guard. Go and get Travis Etienne, a running back that could give you explosive plays, could do all the short stuff, the long stuff, passing game. You go get a tight end, Noah Fant. Then in the draft, you add so much speed, bro. The speed and the juice, man. It's like you took a weakness. Like the offense was literally a weakness last year, bro. Even with Tyler Shuck, and you turned it into a strength. Unbelievable.
And I know, and we'll get into it, potentially, and we'll get into it because I know some of the criticism of this draft was, well, what about the defense? Like the defense may take a step back, and we'll get into the whole them trading for Tyree Wilson from former Texas Tech, top 10 pick from the Raiders. We'll get into that, and I think it's a legitimate concern and gripe, but I also said and I know our dude Bayou was very upset that they didn't add more defensive players, but I had said, and I would love to go back and find the clip of it. I said after last year's draft, when, again, I know the first 2 rounds they added a left tackle and a quarterback, so they went offense. But after that, it was very defensive heavy until Devin Neal, right? But it was, this is not in order, but they added Stuntsman, they added Sanker, Quincy Riley, and Brogdon, defensive tackle, all last year. 4 defensive players after they went offense in those 2 first picks. And I had said that in this draft, it would be fantastic if they did an inverse of last year's draft. And they literally did it. They literally did the fucking inverse.
Couldn't believe it, man. Couldn't believe it. And look, I just think people need to understand this is a team in the middle of a rebuild. It is a rebuilding team. They've been going through this process, and it's a slow process. It takes time. You're not going to be able to just check off all the boxes. Just think about it if you're somebody that's had terrible credit and had a bunch of debt. It takes time to get from under that. You're going to have to make sacrifices. One month you might got to pay down your credit cards. The next month you got to pay it off loans, and you might have to eat ramen noodles and bologna sandwiches all month. So you just got to kind of go through the sacrifices. So we can't get everything we want. Yes, we would love to have the pass rusher and the defensive tackle and the nickel corner and fill all these holes, but you only have limited resources. You got a couple of draft picks and you got a little bit of money in the offseason. And whatever players available, you can get with it. And that's really all you could do. But I think when you just look at it from like a big picture, the trend line is going up as they fix these holes, as they get younger, as they get the salary cap in order, they build in depth. Like a lot of those players that we kind of got annoyed watching last year, they become depth. Now it's like, okay, now instead of, Dante Pettis as your wide receiver 2 or 3, he's on a practice squad, but a guy you could bring in case you get injured. You know what I'm saying? Like, that looks much better now. You know what I'm saying? Or Polk, you're not depending on Polk to come in and be the guy. Now Polk is just a guy that you can like, okay, if you get something out of this training camp, you got maybe a wide receiver 3 or 4. You know what I'm saying? So it just changes the whole picture of what the Saints are doing.
Completely. Let me catch up with the chat real quick. We have 82 concurrent viewers, 151 views going right now. I know. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. If you're watching this live on YouTube, either right now or later, please like and subscribe. Justin Cash said he's done miracles on me. Thank you, Kellen Moore. Our dude Wes said, I love the way Kellen's regime is picking players. It's all dudes with tons of snaps on tape. Even the quote-unquote project players come from high-caliber programs. Yes. Jack Hunter said, I know a lot of people hated the Lance pick, but that could be a genius move. Whoever those people are, let me know so I can block every single one of them. Wesley said, defense was supposed to be awful last year and was a top 15 unit. I'm just going to trust Staley to make it enough again while the offense puts up a bajillion points. Yeah, that's the hope.
Make it enough.
And then Tremel Molly Mall said, I wanted Kellen Moore to get Harold Perkins. Why? Like, no one knows what position Harold Perkins will even play in the league. What is this fascination with Harold Perkins?
His freshman year still got everybody in a chokehold.
I guess. And then Jack Hunter said, my only complaint was not getting a cornerback earlier in the super deep cornerback draft. I mean, I think they wanted to add a corner. Like, I really think they really wanted Traden Stukes or even R. Mason Thompson in round 2. They went before them. It is what it is. Sometimes that's just how the draft plays out. And then 702 Steed said, how y'all feeling about picking up Kenny Moore? I've seen a lot of like Saints and Kenny Moore from like fans wanting Kenny Moore. I don't know. I just think they may be better off just either going with someone in-house, which I don't know that's going to be a great situation for them. I think maybe Kenny Moore's best days are behind him. And I say that because, one, I think the Colts are going to cut him because they weren't able to trade for him. So I think he's going to be cut, but I think he's going to want to get paid a pretty high amount at the slot position, and he's an older slot. So, anyway, those are my things. So let's actually jump into, I hope I still have it up. No, I don't. Jump into the draft, and there's no trades. Well, they did make the trade for Tyree Wilson, and they traded pick 150 for that, and then got back a 7th from the
pick
Raiders.
150. Would that be, was that a 4th or 5th?
It was a 5th.
5th round, okay.
It was a 5th. So this is the 2026 draft class from the Saints. After wide receiver, Arizona State wide receiver, Jordyn Tyson from Arizona State. He went Kristen Miller, defensive tackle out of Georgia. Round 3. This is the pick that blew me away, Wolf. Like,
blew me away.
This was when I was like, okay. Oscar Delp, tight end from Georgia. When we're gonna break, in this episode, we're gonna break each player down a little bit, but then the plan that Wolf and I plan to do is do a Rookie of the Week episode where we're breaking down, like watching the all 22 of each player, breaking him down. The format that we're going to do is kind of similar to the Prospect of the Week in that when we're doing the all 22 and everything like that, that's going to be up on patreon.com. That's going to be up on YouTube members only. And it's going to be up for a week exclusive for Patreons and YouTube members only. And then after that, we're going to release it full and put it on YouTube, except it's not going to have the all 22 clips. So keep in mind, that's our next project since the draft is finished. Round 4, Auburn tackle, pick 132, Jeremiah Wright, guard. Get into that later. Another pick, the second pick in round 4, I believe one of these picks from one of these picks had to be from the Rashid Shaheed trade. This is when I almost passed out in my seat. Wolf just dropped. He's having connection issues. I'm going to keep going. Bryce Lance, wide receiver from North Dakota State, the brother of former top 3 pick Trey Lance. Round 5, they added Lorenzo Styles Jr., a safety defensive back from Ohio State, brother to Sonny Styles. And where his role on the team is going to be very interesting. I would say probably starting off, special teams, and then whatever potentially he could give you in defensive packages would be kind of extra cherry on top. Then they continued this theme of wanting to improve the special teams. Barryon Brown, wide receiver from LSU, transferred from Kentucky, a special teams ace in terms of kick returning. That's like kick returning, punt returning. That's his role. You may even he may be able to even play a little bit of the Rashid Shaheed, just kind of starting off early in his career, making plays deep down the field, very dynamic, very explosive. And then they ended the draft in round 7, drafting TJ Hall out of Iowa, cornerback. And that is the 2026 NFL draft class as Wolf returns and is back. It is what it is. When you see this, what's just your first takeaway?
Speed. Like just not just juice, but speed. And what did we talk about all last year? Well, not just last year, but just overall. Just the overall team speed has just been lacking, especially just offensively. You go get Jordyn Tyson, like I wouldn't call him a burner, but he's no, when you watch him,
he's dynamic.
He's dynamic and, acrobatic, and you watch him going against a corner in off coverage or something, and he just, he shrinks that space so quickly. It's like, whoo, you know what I'm saying? It's just quick. You look at Oscar Delp, one of the fastest tight ends in the draft. Just historically one of the faster tight ends.
Yes,
just speed, explosive. You look at Bryce Lance, that's his thing. You know what I'm saying? Like he's a burner.
4.34,
big, fast wide receiver. Still kind of learning the game, but I think he averaged like 21 yards per catch or something, like just a burner. Then you go even you look at Lorenzo Styles, the cornerback, converted wide receiver, stupid speed. Like he's a speed demon. Then you get like a little partially late in the draft with the kid from LSU, kick returner, speed. It's just like
Barryon Brown.
It's like they made a concerted effort to get the overall team speed rectified in this draft, man. That was just like the main thing that popped out of me when I looked at the draft.
That popped up. That they added speed, and another thing is just they added personnel versatility. Now, I know Kellen Moore this offseason is going to go ham in terms of creatively what he can do from the offensive personnel in this team now. Two of the things that I noticed the most last season, in part was because your excellent breakdowns of watching the games and then putting them up on Patreon, the offense, is how bad the run game was in mostly all facets, and how much the lack of blocking by the interior, but also by the tight ends, really contributed to the piss poor run game.
Yes.
That Oscar Delp selection and Jeremiah Wright to a certain degree, because I think that's one of his strengths is he's kind of a mauler in the run game, kind of like the inverse of Ruiz at right guard.
Exactly.
Is that they now have the flexibility offensively to go 11 personnel, to go 12 personnel, maybe even go 13 personnel with Fant, Johnson, and Delp, and then be able to dictate to the defenses what are they going to do?
Right.
Now, as an offensive coach, like, you are in heaven being able to kind of have this, you know, I can kind of now do what I want to do to these defenses. Shit, I can line Olave and Tyson next to each other, or I can put trips formation if I want to. Maybe let's say Bryce Lance is a little further ahead. I can put them in trips formation with Lance, with Tyson, with Olave. As a defense, you just like, shit, I hope our pass rush get home.
Oh man, listen. And, you know, like you spoke about with the 12 and 13 personnel, what teams want to do is they want to line up, say, 13 personnel and look like they want to run the ball. You're putting a run fit.
Mm-hmm.
The defense has to respect that. And what the quandary that defenses are going through is they want to play this too high shell, and the real good defenses are able to stop the run when it's too high. So they don't. So that 13 personnel don't affect them. That's why the Seahawks were so great, because they could just do that. But not everybody, not the Seahawks. You know what I'm saying? Most teams can't do that. And the thing is, if you look at like the pass percentage, most teams pass out of that 12 and 13 personnel because it's just such an advantage. You know what I'm saying? In the passing game. So it just opens up a wide, like later in the season, you started seeing Kellen Moore try to do more of that. Like some of the condensed looks and all that stuff, but we just ain't had it, bro. I know he was just like, oh, help me. Just like, and that's what he did this offseason, bro. He went out and made the moves to get the help. So, and you talked about it in your article from the prospect match and mentioning Delp himself. Like that's something that, you know, Kellen Moore wants to do going into this offseason, just to add some dynamicism, if that's a word. Just add some.
It's a word now.
Just to add that to the all season, because it was just 11 personnel all day, 3 wide receivers, Chris Olave coming in on a motion, quick hitter, and hit Jordyn. It was like and you hit Rashid Shaheed. It was just very, very, very milquetoast. And now you really have like this, like, pick your poison, man. Like, it's really gonna. Defense is really going to have to like do their homework come play the Saints. Like, man, we really got to strap up, because this is tough. And you can run the ball. Oh shit! Like,
I was thinking about an analogy. Is like, man, last season felt like, not all plays, but like the offense, like Kellen Moore was just missionary, bro. Just plain old missionary, lights off. Now this offseason, I need Kellen to get in the lab, bro. I need the toys on the bed. I need some reverse cowgirl. I need all that. I need all that.
Got the tripod set up with the black light.
I need the mirror on the ceiling and shit, bro. I need Kellen like flexing when you look at. This is what I need going into the season. I need it. Just get freaky with it. Get freaky with the offense. Spit on her a little bit, Kellen. Take your time. Take your time, Kellen. Now you can do that. Now he couldn't do it last year. He couldn't do it last year. Now he can.
Oh man, it's unbelievable.
Let's take our first break right here, and then we're going to get into some of these prospects individually, breaking them down as we continue recapping the 2026 NFL Draft Saints draft class. We'll be right back after this break.
The NBA playoffs are finally here, and Underdog is the place to get in on the action. Playing on Underdog is easy. Just pick whether your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats like points, rebounds, steals, and more. This week on Underdog, I'm looking at the NBA playoffs and selecting Jason Tatum for higher than 28.5 points and Nikola Jokic for higher than 11.5 rebounds. Download the app today and use promo code BLOCKPARTY to score $50 in bonus entries when you play your first $5. That's promo code BLOCKPARTY. Underdog. Make picks. Win money.
Must be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Offer not valid in Maryland, Michigan, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. In New York, call the 24/7 HOPEline at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369.
We are back. Pammy Whammy said, I need the wheelbarrow. All right, bro.
Man,
all right.
Pammy Whammy back, man. Shout out Pammy Whammy, man. The wheelbarrow.
I shouldn't say this, but imagine we're being like, this is the draft class we're so excited about, and this is like be the draft class that like just falls on his ass.
Don't matter, bro. It's about these moments. It's about these.
It is. That is
that
true.
would be hilarious, bro. Like,
like the one draft we got all the juice. We just So we did a whole episode on Jordyn Tyson the night after he was drafted. So if you haven't watched that, please go back and do that. That's going to be a deeper discussion. And then the goal this offseason, we can, as we did last year in terms of just getting people on to kind of talk about the Saints and the draft and the upcoming season with us. We're going to hope to get Matt Harmon on here again to talk about now what it looks like now that the Saints have drafted Jordyn Tyson and Bryce Lance. Maybe we typically get Greg Cosell on here, do a draft recap. Who else said they'd do a draft recap with us? Tony Pauline said he'd do a draft recap with us. Maybe if the stars align, maybe we could get Mina Kimes on here again, in the summertime to talk about Saints. But all that said, in terms of Jordyn Tyson, and just in terms of his overall, so this is created with his measurables, the Saints athletic profile, and inserts and information from Dan Brugler's The Beast of the Athletic. Elite catch reliability, and just in terms of how he catches the ball. 2025, he had a 1.6 drop rate. And then we just talked about it at length, but just the things that you should be excited about if you're a Saints fan about Jordyn Tyson I think is two things. One, the ability that he comes to a situation where he doesn't have to be the number one guy. Mm-hmm. He can play and complement Chris Olave. And that takes a lot of pressure off of him. That's going to take pressure off of Chris Olave. And the fact that he can be moved around the formation. He doesn't have to come around and just be a static X receiver, just expected to go and win on routes. So that will then allow him to use the things that make him dynamic. Like, it just keeps the offense and defense is honest in terms of how he's going to be deployed. Obviously, we can't talk about, Jordyn Tyson without talking about the injury in his injury history. So he's missed 34 of his games over the last 4 years due to various injuries. You can't ignore that. Like, those are just facts. But if you just break it down, and we're going to watch more of him. We've already watched him for the Prospect of the Week episode, but we're going to watch more all 22 of him because there's more games of him that's available. I just shout out to was it our guy Josh that called them the Beignet Boys?
Yeah.
It was Josh.
That was
right?
Josh, yeah.
And then they added Bryce Lance too. You got to do another beignet on that. Do another beignet on that bitch. Out here got the Loretta pralines at wide receiver. Beignets is at wide receiver, bro. Just
cream, bro. Just cream everywhere, bro. It just cracks me. It's just crazy. It's just funny to see, especially if you like insiders knowing, like if everybody knows Sharon, you know what I'm saying? Like it just makes it so hilarious, bro. But I love Jordyn Tyson, man. Like I just love the prospect of him. And look, the injury thing, fact is he's not injured right now. He's healthy right now. He's bounced back from his hamstring. We'll see how it goes. You know what I'm saying? It's a risk. It is a risky bet.
Would you let him go out there in 2 weeks at Ricky minicamp?
Me? Yes, no. I want you.
Ain't no way.
You get a training room, getting massages. We working out like
no way. Whoa.
Like me, Ted, Raph, we sitting down and we mapping out like a nutrition plan. And actually, Jordyn Tyson talked about this. He talked about, man, look, I'm willing to do whatever nutrition plan, whatever, to come up with ways to, at least controllable injuries. Look, he had a broken collarbone. And he had the ACL from getting like harpooned, getting a catch over the middle where the guy took his leg. Those are football injuries. Nothing you could do about that. Like that's just, it happens playing football. Freaky, poor luck, whatever you want to call it, but it just happened. Hamstrings, that's something that goes with like, nutrition, that goes with like how you move your body, the dimensions of your body. All that stuff, he could have some control over that. So that's something he needs to get better at taking care of. And I think, hopefully the Saints can.
But even the hamstring thing, right? And it was, man, it's really crazy kind of coming at the end of it, right?
Yeah.
Like, the process of just, no one really sees like all the work that goes in like everything that we do during the offseason process, especially like the drafts. Like Jake and I being at the combine, being in front of his podium, Jake talked to him about that. Our dude Jake talked to Jordyn Tyson about that. And so we have the clip of it. So basically what it was is that during that Texas Tech game, he thought that he had a cramp. He thought he had a back cramp. And I don't know if you want to put that on the Arizona State medical staff or whatever, but he thought he had a cramp. He didn't come out in the game, but he didn't have a cramp. He was playing on a pulled hamstring. Like he was playing in that game on a pulled hamstring. And in doing so, he caused the hamstring injury in the pool to become worse than what it was. So I'm not here to like alleviate the concern of the injury. I'm not. But also, I also was like, well, if they had taken him, like if someone had sat him down in that game and said, hey, like this is a pulled hamstring, like go on the sideline, sit down. I wonder what his draft trajectory would have been if he didn't go out there and play on a pulled hamstring and cause more damage to it that kind of sidelined him kind of throughout the season, the rest of the season.
Right.
I just think I think that's like, and to hear him talk about
and it's the context. That's why context matters.
Yes,
you know, and even Hines Ward talked about his wide receiver coach talked about like he's not the type to want to come out of game. He's not like he's one of these that he got the toughness knock, all off season, but
which is so weird.
Which is the complete opposite.
So weird to me.
He's going to
like if you watch that Texas Tech game, like. It's the complete opposite of someone who is not.
You know
tough.
What's crazy though? Like that's the game Kellen Moore kept pointing to in his post draft presser.
Come on, nigga.
He kept talking about that Texas Tech game. That Texas Tech game. Like that's what pushed it over the limit for Kellen Moore. It's crazy, right?
Like it's very hilarious how the draft cycle and process works and whatever.
But it also speaks to Kellen Moore because he was the same way with Shuck. Like he had that same viewpoint where everybody was knocking Shuck for the injuries and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Where Kellen,
us included,
and myself included. But Kellen looked at it more like, man, look at what this guy's overcome. Like look at the adversity he dealt with and was able to bounce back and come to. I just think the way Kellen is wired. Like he adds like a lot of cookie points to that type of stuff, and that's just the way it is.
When you are a prospect, and this is something that I use this word all the time in my career as being a social worker, is seeing, kids who have gone through a lot of trauma, adversity, how resilient they are, or even parents sometimes, right? Like just because they made a mistake, maybe they have like a substance abuse addiction or whatever, but their ability to kind of bounce back from that, hopefully when they are able to, like it's something as a social worker, we really talk about how the resiliency and makeup of a person can be such a positive strength and a positive trait and attribute to a person. And to that point, I think you're seeing it with Kellen Moore when these prospects, like injuries have kind of been the thing, is that if you're able to kind of bounce back and push through from that, the coaching staff, especially Kellen Moore, is seeing that as a positive, not necessarily like assuming the players check out medically, right? Or else like they may have taken like Jamar McCoy in round 2, right? Because there are some where you're like, whoa. But you are kind of seeing that trend of how he emphasizes that, because I think what you're seeing is that if this person is able to bounce back from situations like that, then I can trust them to be an NFL player, because you're going to have a lot of adversity going through a season.
No question. And I think that's just how Kellen Moore is wired. You know what I'm saying? I think he's wired to like that type of stuff. And like you said, it has to balance out. Like, the risk has to kind of balance itself.
That part.
So like with Jordyn Tyson, the reward is you have like a wide receiver 1 talent. You know what I'm saying? Balanced out with the injury history or whatever. So, I just think that's where it is.
NFL comparison, Stephon Diggs.
I've seen that a couple times.
Seen that one, seen the OBJ one. Matt Harmon had thrown out Amari Cooper, which, interesting enough, who did Kellen Moore coach in Dallas and had one of his best seasons? Sure
did. It's fascinating, bro. It's fascinating. I can't wait to see how he gets used, man, in this offense.
Like that third preseason game gonna have me hyped up. hyped up. Jack
Bro.
Hunter said, go ahead.
I was about to say, I know Spencer Rattler like, man, y'all won't get all this shit now, bro. Like, ain't that some shit, bro? Like, now y'all won't get all this. Y'all had me out there making love with Kevin Austin Jr. and all that.
like the Denzel. Oh, y'all gonna do that to me? You gonna do this to me? You gonna do this to me?
Like, okay. All right. Okay.
Let me catch up on the chat real quick. Sports Highlights 2838 said Tyson said he started doing all of that, said he started loosening his hips and everything now. Eugene Sutherland said, of course, a New Orleans team about to field the most light-skinnedest receiving core in history, being engaged with extra powder and extra cream. Jack Hunter said, Tyson not having to come in and be that number one, I think it helps with his injuries. Teams are not going to focus on him exclusively. I don't know if I would make that analogy. Like, he's going to be on the field. Like, he's going to have the attention of defenses. So I don't know how I would go that far with it. But I will say just what it does in terms of how the team, how defense have to play the Saints is going to be very, very interesting. Because one of the things that is so crucial in the addition of Jordyn Tyson is how he, again, referring to reception perception, Matt Harmon, his ability to win and success in zone coverage. So now you got two receivers in Olave and Tyson who know how to just get open in zone. And so many teams just runs. There are not many teams out there that are running man-to-man concepts anymore. Just saying, you're my corner, I'm putting you on him, go win. It happens from time to time. It does. But majority of teams are run a lot of zone. But even if you have like that flip, right? Because I can see teams that maybe do play a little more man. Maybe they try to put kind of like the old Bill Belichick Patriots thing. I'm gonna put my cornerback 2 on Olave and have like bracket coverage on him. And I'm putting my cornerback 1 on Jordyn Tyson. Jordyn Tyson, in theory, potentially has the ability to be able to hopefully win against cornerback 1s in the NFL. So that's where it just gets like, ooh. Yeah. And then even if the outside is covered, maybe the middles open up with Juwan and Oscar Delp and his speed. Valet. Can't forget about Valet, bro. And that's not like that's not a dig on Valet. No. It's not like people. It just puts. It's gonna put defense
now
in
Valet.
countries.
Like you putting Valet in like advantage situations. So like it makes everything look. It just makes everything look better. You know. Christian Miller, baby.
Christian Miller, pick 2. I say our dude, he hasn't been on the podcast, but someone that we respect highly, and Ali Connolly had him as his defensive tackle first, like defensive tackle 1 in the draft, like his favorite defensive tackle in the entire draft. And the pick maybe came as like a little bit of a surprise, but I just think they were going with best player available who was on the board. I'll get into who the Saints wanted to draft had these players been available when we do our Patreon only episode in just a bit. But why I love this pick so much, and it caused like a fracas in our Discord for whatever reason, is that the Saints don't have a good defensive line.
No.
They don't, like, in terms, especially defense, like, it is not an area of strength. It is one of the weakest areas on their team. And you're drafting someone who can come in, is a penetrator, causes disruption, is able to free up a lot of opportunities for the linebackers behind him to make, plays on the run game. They need that.
Yes.
And I tweeted this, and then so many people fucking came at me. I said that drafting a Christian Miller, you have to kind of wonder what that says about what the team thinks of Vernon Brogdon, third round pick from last year. So many people got my mentions. Oh, they play different positions. He got hurt. Blah. People need to understand that even though he got hurt very early in the season, they saw what Broughton did all during rookie minicamp, all during OTAs, all during training camp. He didn't play for the first 2. He was inactive at least week 1. I'm not saying that Miller is going to like get brought and cut or anything like that. And even if they play different like positions in terms of like 5 gap, 0 gap, whatever, teams tell you what they think about players all the time.
Mm-hmm.
People are like, oh, well, this is more an indictment of Gottschall and Nathan Shepard. Okay, maybe it is. And I know Kellen said that, they're going to not compete, but kind of work in tandem. Sure. But he's a player that kind of adds something to the defense if he works out that they have been missing in terms of that interior pressure.
Since Malcolm Roach, bro. Since Malcolm Roach left the building, they've been looking for that guy, and they haven't been able to get him. And I mean,
which is funny because I comped him to a more explosive, a little more disruptive Malcolm Roach when I kind of watch a little bit of him.
Which is perfectly said, bro. Violent hands, just stout. He pushes the pocket. I mean, I haven't done like a full all 22 stuff. I just cracked open like one game this morning just to kind of get a peek at him. And the one thing I like about him is I didn't have to squint, bro. There was no squinting. Like immediately I'm watching him versus Alabama and he is crushing the pocket, like just pushing it back. It's like what we wanted to see, like with Peter Woods, when we watched Peter Woods.
But we didn't see it.
We didn't see it. It's like, oh, okay. Like you immediately see, okay, this is what he's good at. This is immediately what he's good at, man. I just think it's a fantastic pick. People was a lot of timeline was immediately upset. It's like, another defensive tackle. I'm like, what? like we'd be the first ones to complain, man. But like after the Tyson
ones, bro.
After the Tyson pick, I'm like, cool. Like just need some defensive help.
All right.
And I was listening to Ali Conley. I was listening to him on what's the name of this site? Read Optional. The Read Optional. He's got the podcast, and they were doing a live draft coverage, and he was excited. He was excited when the pick happened, man. That was his number one overall defensive tackle. He had him over a little bit slightly over Caden McDonald. He said he talked about how they kind of filled the similar roles. But he thought Christian Miller has like a little more untapped potential as a pass rusher.
Rusher. Yeah, because McDonald's more just a straight run defender like stuffer.
Yeah. So like it is there. Like it is there that you could see a potential development into like a pass rusher. Like I got some like Byron Murphy just feel watching him. Just like not there yet, but like you could just see just that violence, man. Like that's just that stoutness, bro. And I did like that. I was watching that versus the Alabama game all the way like to the fourth quarter, man. He was playing with like high motor, high effort. It was a tight game. You know how it is with them defensive tackles, bro. Sometimes you get late in the game, they just like, shit, man.
Gas.
Get me up out of here, bro. Nah, he was full go, going 1,000 miles an hour. So I love the pick, bro. I love the pick. I can't wait to do like a full breakdown on him.
It's funny because a lot of people were wanting, I don't say a lot of people, but like a popular pick at 42 for the Saints, kind of as the draft process went on, was like Lee Hunter, defensive tackle of Texas Tech, who went to the Panthers. And like, I think just the little bit I've seen of Miller, and I again, I'm a Lee Hunter fan. Miller seems to be a better player overall than what Lee Hunter could play. Although they're kind of similar.
Yeah,
but
kind of similar. They're in the same bucket, I guess. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. But one thing I love about Miller is of all the guys they drafted, he seems to be the one with the most just that, no pun intended, right? Because he went to Georgia, but like a true like dog in him. Like he seems to have like that mentality on defense that seems to have be missing a little bit on the defensive line. Like we get a little thug in the building.
It's a little goon right here.
It's a little goon right here. You can feel it, bro. And they need that. They need you want a goon on defense, bro. Especially the defensive line.
Come on,
you want a goon.
That's where your goon's supposed to be at, man. Either goons or MAGA. One of them. Like, bro, got to be one of them.
No in between.
These are your great human beings right here. You know what I'm saying? No offense. I'm not saying he's not a good human being. I'm just saying. But it's I liked it, bro. I like that pick. It filled the need, and this was not a deep defensive tackle draft. Like it was
not at all,
very thin. And for what I'm hearing, next year is super thin too. So I think that the strike while the iron is hot. I'm like we talked about. We know they wanted a corner. They probably had a corner that they wanted that was somewhere close to their board right here. But sometimes you got to go where the value at. He was like the I want to say like the 43rd player on Dane Bulger's overall draft board. He was the 46th player on DJ's draft board, and they got him at pick 42. So it's like
42.
The value was just like right there.
And look at this quote from the beast that came from the Auburn center, Connor Liu. Toughest player I've faced. Like, toughest player he's faced.
In the SEC.
So now you kind of see this vision, right, of the defensive line, right? You have Miller. Hopefully you see more from Broughton this offseason or this upcoming season. You have Bresee, who they picked up the fifth round option, who I think with the selection of Miller, now you can free Bresee to just do what he does best, which is like go upfield and try to attack the passer, because he is a awful run defender.
Like it will put
awful run defender.
He is. It will put deep offensive in quandaries, bro, because he will line up, shaded against the center or over the guard and absolutely abuse them. Like on third down, we got Caden Ellis. He likes to just kind of line up in that gap and kind of rush the passer from an off-ball standpoint. Then you got Brian Bresee, who, might not be the most powerful guy, but he's quick. Once he's gone, once he's flying up, like, man, bro, like now you cooking with something. Now you got Chase Young, you know what I'm saying? Like it's still a defensive line, like it's a work in progress, but this was like a component that has been missing for a long, long time, bro.
Long time. Shout out to our dude Sherm for the $5 super chat. He said, finally, hashtag juice, LS, and all. If you know, you know. We know, Sherm. We know. We have 179 concurrent viewers right now and 550 views, so we appreciate that. Let's take our final break, and then we're going to come back, wrap up talking about the Tyree Wilson trade, Oscar Delp, and Bryce Lance. We're not going to hit on every individual player to some degree, like in terms of but we're going to try to get through as many as we can. So we'll take our final break, and then we'll come back right after this. Yo, what up, Wolf? What are you looking at?
Man, I'm checking out this website. This site is cheap, bro.
In the 21st century? How do you have a crappy website? Couldn't be me.
They need to hit up our guy Bijan with Precious Works. Precious Works offers to not only build you a website that's tailored to you and your customers' needs, but also to continue to manage and maintain it so you can focus on your business. Don't have much time? Precious Works is just what you need. No out-of-the-box stuff like Squarespace or Wix. Precious Works will create a site for you. You won't have to worry about plugin updates, security, or things like that, because Precious Works will maintain all of that and be available to you 24/7. Bijan set up Saints Block Party Podcast website for us a few years ago and hit it out the park. He also keeps it up to date and helps us anytime we want to add something new, like a form or the prospect matching tool that we did for the NFL draft. It's like having your own personal developer, just a text or a call away. Precious Works has worked with everyone from small businesses to large firms, so no job is too big or too small. If you're in the need of a website or you currently have one, but you want to upgrade it, give Bijan a holler at Precious Works. You can get with him at Bijan at Precious Works, BIJON at precious.works, or go to precious.works for his website. Make sure to tell him Saints Block Party sent you.
We are back from our break. I want to, before we talk about kind of filling out the rest of the draft, I wanted to talk about the Tyree Wilson trade. So the Saints traded pick 150, which was a 5th round pick, and then they received Tyree Wilson. The Raiders' 7th round pick, which was like the 3rd pick in the 7th round from the Raiders that they used on TJ Hall, cornerback from Iowa. People were like all up in my mentions yesterday because I tweeted like Tyree Wilson is awful, but like, guns up. And I think a lot of people want this Tyree Wilson trade to be Chase Young Part 2. If they would have landed Kayvon Thibodeau from the Giants, I think that's a more accurate description of potentially getting Chase Young Part 2. With Tyree Wilson, at this point right now, you're hoping that he can give you what Cam Jordyn gave you last season. Be a solid rotational depth piece, pass rusher you bring in from time to time, and things like that. People were kind of saying people don't understand like how bad he was with the Raiders when he's been a colossal bust. This is someone who is a Texas Tech alum, who was not a Tyree Wilson fan of him coming out when he came out. I was like, I don't get why people are like, I didn't see, there's a social media clip where I said he was the Texas Tech worst version of Marcus Davenport when he came out of the draft.
Yeah.
And then he goes and gets drafted, and he's been even worse than Davenport, because at least the first season and a half, 2 seasons of Davenport, at least you saw it.
Yeah.
You haven't seen it from Tyree Wilson. But I think you hit a good stat yesterday in our Discord, just saying that kind of in the same amount of similar snaps from last year, Tyree Wilson was able to provide, at least pressure-wise, the same thing that Cam Jordyn did last season. Now, Cam Jordyn also ended the season with 10 sacks last year, which I think is a big difference. But I get it from a standpoint of, it's a 5th-round pick. We'll probably, at least we know we're going to get some type of limited production. We need pass rush. We probably, and I think this maybe put a end of Cam Jordyn's career as a Saint, but we can get into that. But people, I'm fine with the move. I'm completely fine with the move, but I just feel like people need to be realistic of what this can bring. If he goes out and turns his career around and becomes the top 10 version of himself that everyone, people, I don't know, the Raiders envisioned when they drafted him, fucking amazing. That is fantastic. But you can't go into the season expecting that.
Right. I mean, just, you got to look at him for what he is now. And if you go, for some reason, I watched some of his All-22 a couple of months ago.
Why?
I have I can't figure out why. Maybe I was trying to figure out trade, maybe,
that's
trade
what it was.
scenarios or something.
I think it was a trade.
I was just wondering, wonder how Tyree Wilson do. I went and looked at him, and he was fine. He was fine. He finally, they figured out how to best use him, and it was to use him as a rotational player. He was just a rotational defensive lineman, mostly played against the run, but he was on some pass rush snaps. He got 4 sacks. He had 9% pressure rates on 200 or 300 something pass rush snaps. So he's a fine defensive end. You know what I'm saying? And the Saints need defensive ends. It's a hole on the team. They need defensive ends. So it just made sense from that standpoint. And you're getting some guy that's still young, who does have some athletic upside, who maybe can, take a step forward. But even if you just get what you got last year, it's a fine move. You know what I'm saying? Because it would have been hard to find a player that can give you that in the 5th round of this draft. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So, and you get that. You know what I'm saying? So it's a fine move, man. I have no problem with it. Even Mickey said it's a 1-year rental. You see where it's at. If, maybe he shows something and you extend him. If not, you let him walk and maybe get a comp pick for him or something. Who knows? So it just made sense. It's a sensible move that I didn't mind at all.
At all. Also, Tyree Wilson and Tyler Shuck were teammates at Texas Tech for 2 seasons.
They had me hollering, bro.
Woof.
It's 6 degrees of separation or something.
Hollering.
This boy Shuck everywhere, bro.
Everywhere. Who that Daddy 7481 said, the Raiders are a clear shit show. So let's give Tyree a clean slate and a Staley defense that complements his talent and see what happens. Okay, the Raiders are a shit show, but Master Crosby's one of the best defensive ends in football. Talent shows. I'm sorry, talent shows. I get it. The ideal of him, and the one thing I like that Mickey said is that Staley has a vision for him.
Yeah,
Mwah, love that. I love when a defensive, a coach has a plan for a player. I would love Tyree Wilson to turn his career around, but again, he has been a absolute colossal bust for the Raiders. You know who else has been stellar for the Raiders? It's Brock Bowers.
Yeah,
he's one of the best tight ends in football in 2 seasons. So can we stop? I get it. The situation is what the situation is, and I understand that. And we have seen numerous times where a player is in a bad situation, they go to a different team and they turn their career around. Blah blah. Zach Bond, whatever. But Tyree, the things that got Tyree Wilson drafted was his athleticism and his explosiveness. He hasn't been that type of player in the league.
Sure. He's
been a borderline starter.
Yeah.
And they drafted him 7th overall. So that's a bust.
Yeah.
That's a bust. If the Saints get something for him, that's fantastic. And you want.
Yeah. And it's one of those things where the team that drafted him he's going to be a disappointment for them, for the Raiders. But for us.
Oh, for sure.
For us, it's Oh, rotational player. That's fine.
It's
You know what I'm saying?
it's Lanyap.
Yeah.
Like whatever.
It's like
whatever we give him.
It's like Brian Brissett. You know what I'm saying? Like, if Brian Brissett just stayed who he is right now, he's a disappointment, massive disappointment in where he was drafted.
Yes, for sure. For sure.
But he could leave this team and go to the Chiefs and be like a situational pass rusher and have like a nice career. Sheldon Rankins, another prime example. You know what I'm saying? Massive disappointment for the Saints. But he's had a good career as an NFL player, you know what I'm saying? Just doing what he does. So I think you're hoping Tyree fits in kind of that space.
You're hoping so. Listen, like I'm not mad that they added a Texas Tech player to the team, like, but I'm also like, I try to be like realistic about the situation.
I remember watching him also, like when that draft, he was like the first player I watched, and I said, this is a Saints. This is a Saints defensive lineman right here.
You knew it, bro. You knew it. I was like, oh, this is a Saint player. I watched his tape and I was just befuddled of why he was getting mocked to go top 10. Like it never made sense to me. But yes, he 100% looked like a Saints defensive end. Also, this is a pivot from the Kayvon Thibodeau trade. So let's kind of hit on that a little bit. This episode is just going to get long. It is what it is, guys. I might have to take a break, go eat some breakfast. And I'm just kidding. But there was so much buzz that came out during day 2. And we talked about this on our Patreon-only episode that we recorded like a month ago about what we had heard about the Saints and being connected to Kayvon Thibodeau. They wanted to get something worked out with the Giants, blah, blah, blah. We had a whole, little segment that we talked about it on. I was told that they've been interested in Thibodeau interested in Thibodeau for almost like a year, like even going back to last season when he was playing for the Giants. And this was a situation where the Giants were asking for one thing. Now, what they were asking for, it seems to be some discrepancy. I know Underhill had said it was a 3rd round pick. I heard specifically that the Giants were asking for pick 42, and the Saints didn't budge on that compensation, that trade compensation. So they used pick. What was interesting to me is as soon as that pick 42 was made on Kristen Miller, Adam Schefter dropped the Giants have no plans in trading Kayvon Thibodeau, which to me
it was like
tells
boom,
me,
boom. It was like whoa,
boom, boom, which to me tells me that it was pick 42.
Yeah,
that's what that kind of tells me. But all that to say, okay, cool. We didn't land Thibodeau. Let's pivot because we had this backup plan. If we can get Thibodeau, then let's get Tyree Wilson. Say we've harped on this team in terms of how the front office has been run for a long time. That is smart planning to have a concurrent plan and have a backup plan that if we didn't get this, hey, let's have this. Ryan?
What's what do we always say? Toot it up, Mickey. Like we know Mickey gonna toot it up. He ain't been getting tooted up, bro. He was like, what? Not budging on that. Move on to your next plan, which is what I like to see. You know what I'm saying? I would have look if it would have been a 3rd round pick, I probably would have gave that up for Thibodeau. But
would you rather have Thibodeau or would you rather have Oscar Delp?
Exactly. So it's the opportunity cost when you make those moves. Like at the moment, I probably would have gave up that 3rd for Thibodeau without knowing. But
then you see what the third. Then you see what the 3rd became. You like,
ooh, like nah. I think I like having Delp better. So it's just that's why I'm glad they just didn't do that move. You know what I'm saying? We just got to figure it out.
Speaking of Oscar Delp, perfect segue, talk about him as a prospect. We were at Cooter Browns when this pick came in. I posted our reaction to it live as it was happening on all socials, which is kind of going a little mini viral. But, bruh, when this pick happened, I said, oh, them niggas ain't playing. These niggas
ain't playing, bro.
Who are these guys? Oscar Delp, and this is why the pick for him makes so much sense. If you read his profile, there is so much untapped potential of what he can be as a pass catcher. I actually had to go and see how old he was. I was like, oh, he's only 22. Like I thought maybe he may have been an older tight end. No, he's only 22. And I watched a little bit of him. We're going to watch him more when we do the Rookie of the Week breakdown. But the first thing that stood out to me is 2 things. One, he is such a plus player in terms of blocking. This sounds bad to say, but he probably already comes in as being one of the better blocking tight ends on the team. Like he might be like right behind Noah Fant.
Bro, it's not crazy to say at all, bro. It's really not crazy to say at all.
Like you see what he does in run plays and when he's blocking like inline to create explosive plays for the running back that Georgia had. But the thing that really stood out to me, and I know, and I could just see the vision. Kellen, he didn't get to run a lot of these concepts a lot, but you kind of felt like he wanted to. Quick wide receiver screens, go out. And then the times that we've tried, it was just a fucking debacle. Yeah. Like niggas wouldn't block it. It was like receivers shit was just like Three Stooges. You could hear like whoop whoop slap comedy, nigga. And whoever the receiver was just getting lit up, right? I think like Will Johnson getting blowing up Chris Olave in week 1, or just that's what it was. But you see what Kellen likes to like the concept of what he likes to do. So now. I saw so many plays where Oscar Delp, when a quick wide receiver screen was thrown quick, he's getting out there immediately and hitting that block. Then I was thinking, damn, imagine now Kellen running this. Now it's Jordyn Tyson catching that. Now you get Oscar Delp going out and then
and I saw clips of him blocking guys into the bench, bro. Like he's blocking guys outside the lines, man. Like. I love to see that shit, bro. And with him with the ball in his hands, he running past DB.
He is extremely explosive. And the part that should make you a Saints fan, make you excited as a Saints fan. And I know Kellen Moore doesn't have this playbook, but if somehow you can intertwine a little of that Jimmy Graham playbook.
Oh Lord,
with Oscar Delp and how he could attack the seams because with his speed, you get him going down the seams, the middle of the field. Bro. What does Tyler Shough like to throw the ball, Wolf?
Over the middle, down the seams. And look, you can go look at what Kellen Moore did with Goddard. He did it against us.
That's a good one, Wolf.
Big play.
That little pick play.
That little pick play crosser. Like, that's available now. You get Valet or Delp, and you got Tyson working. Oh, man.
I'm about to bust, Wolf. I'm about to bust. Swear to God, bro.
Just about to whip it out, bro. He's the fifth tight end they drafted since 2006? The fifth tight end, bro.
The fifth tight end they drafted in 20 years, Wolf. The fifth one. Which is an insane stat. Just an absolutely insane stat. Ugh. I love the pick so much. I love the fit. I love what it means with the vision of the offense, with them being able to go more 12, 13 personnel. We talked about that. We can have Juwan, Noah Fant, and Delp on the field. And then again, kind of dictating to the defense, okay, if you get 13 personnel, maybe the defense thinks it's going to be a run play. Play action that bitch. Like Shough was great. Like that's one of his greatest attributes of being a younger quarterback was his ability to turn his back to the defense with play action passes. Then you can run play action off of 13 personnel, off of 12 personnel, assuming that the run game is cooking. It makes so much sense. And just Oscar Delp moves differently than any tight end in this class, except for maybe Stowers, who also moves a little differently. But the way Oscar Delp moves, even to like a Kenyon Sadiq, I felt like even Oscar Delp has a little more just...
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Like a little more oomph to him.
I know exactly what you're saying, man. And that's why, like most people that studied him, he first got on my radar. I want to say the Saints did a private workout with him somewhere, either at Georgia or somewhere. And I was like, who's this guy? And I remember looking into him. I was like, that's interesting. Then his name just started popping up more and more, came up on your prospect matching list and stuff like that. So when they selected him, it was just one of those happy moments. So, because how rarely do we actually be familiar with a player that they actually select? You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, finally. Then it's some juice. Come on, man.
It blew us away. It blew us away. And he was so underutilized at Georgia. Bruh. Like I've watched like a game and a half.
Georgia in a nutshell, bro. That's Georgia in a nutshell. Just underutilized everything.
One bad quarterback play, like Gunnar Stockton or whoever just ass, but there are so many plays, or at least a good few plays. I won't say so many. There's a good few plays where he is open. Like he is open. And he just doesn't get the ball. And another reason as kind of was wrapping up in terms of like, I like him as a player, he has the athletic ability that if he's maybe matched up against a linebacker or a safety, depending on who the linebacker and safety is, we don't have really a lot of players that can win like the tight end position. Like Jordyn typically isn't winning like one-on-one without like athleticism, unless it's like a zone, like a true like man type of situation where it's just man on man and get open.
Yeah.
He has the potential to become that.
Exactly. Exactly, bro. Like he has the potential. Like it just, again, just like we talked about with the wide receiver, everything starts to fall into place now. Now Jordyn, you know, not having Jordyn is just like this TE1 expected to do everything guy. Now you got him and you got Delp and you got Noah Fant. Now the tight end room looks like a tight end room, like a tight end room should look. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
That could give you all of these different dimensions in the pass game and the run game. Juwan Johnson on the field for the run game meant nothing. Like defense looked at him in the run game.
Nothing.
Like, they're like, okay, like what are you supposed to do? You're not blocking anybody. You're not stopping anybody. So we don't care if you line up right next to the tackle. You're not a tight end. You know what I'm saying? But Oscar Delp line in there. Now you can move Juwan around. You could have him move around in the wide receiver spots and stuff like that. Now you can get funky, bro. Now you can get funky. I love it.
I love it too. Basil David 7798 said, "First time I see Wolf happy after a Saints draft. Where is the real Wolf, and what did you do to him with the $5? I think that's a pound."
Hey, shout out for the pound, brother. I appreciate that. I'm happy over here, bro.
Sports Highlight says, draft experts said it shocked them that Delp got drafted so much later than Sadiq because the gap was not that big. Well, it's very interesting in this draft is like the number of tight ends that went before Delp that like you hadn't even, or like the Texas A&M tight end and the Michigan tight end.
Yeah. The problem with Delp was he just didn't have production because they didn't target him. Like
that's the part.
Just didn't have the production. But anybody that watched the tape is like, oh, you know, it was how Kittle went so late. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, true. You see the potential. Our dude Jarvis, J Mouse 56 said $4.99 super chat. Appreciate you. Said hell of a weekend, fellas. #juice. We don't have a graphic on him, but just hitting on Jeremiah Wright, the right guard from Auburn that they drafted. It's funny because I tweeted like before day 2 started. I said it'd be a great day if we got Cesar Ruiz out of here. Just be a great day.
Great, bro.
And then that pick happened. And I was like,
yeah.
Won't he do it?
Won't he do
it? I will say, though, that this strikes me as like Wright as a player, I could see them this year being like a developmental year for him, like them not wanting to rush him into the starting lineup because he has recently became an offensive O-line player. I think he played defensive tackle his first couple of seasons, and so he's like last 2-3 seasons he's just converted to being an O-line player. And like his scouting report is kind of struggles in pass protection, but is a plus player in run blocking and kind of like a grader and a mauler. And when I saw that and I saw the clips, I said, this offensive line completely makes sense. Like this, in theory, and even if you put Wright in there like next season, and let's say this is like they just give Cesar his swan song and they just give him this final season. But I could also see it where, depending on how things go in like training camp and OTAs and things like that, that if he's looking and then preseason, if Cesar has like a bad game or two, hey, bro, we gonna roll with the rookie and just hope it works out.
Yeah, man, exactly. And like you said, he's like an inverse Ruiz, where Ruiz is slightly below average in the pass blocking, but he is awful in the run game. Awful. Whereas, Wright gives you like a real plus player in the run game. Still, as you would expect, still learning the pass game, having just converted to offense. You know what I'm saying? So he has a lot of room to grow in the pass game. But just that run game area, man, if they could figure out a way to, obviously you don't want to be a tail on offense, but if you could like just rotate them. I know a lot of teams don't do rotational offensive linemen, but I'm like, man, let's just get them in there, bro. Like, first down, 1st and 10, like, let's go. You know what I'm saying? Get Ruiz up out of there, bro. But I love the pick. I remember they brought him in. I want to say they did a top 30 visit with him recently.
It was they did a lot of work on him.
A lot of work on him.
Recently.
And I was like, that's interesting. You know what I'm saying? Especially with him being a convert and everything. I was like, I could see him being one of the guys they took. And they had 2 4th-round picks, and they took him with the first one.
Shout out to our dude Rod, who came to the draft meetup party for $4.99 super chat. That this offseason / draft is the first one in years where we probably don't need a or quote unquote where is the vision podcast. Ain't that something?
Ain't that something, brother?
It might be named This Is the Vision. That.
I need somebody to make a little vision from the visions with like, I don't know, the Saints outfit on. With the waves. They got somebody being one with the waves and all that.
Vision with the they was doing that during WandaVision. 178 concurrent viewers, 771 views. I can't talk. Again, we appreciate everyone tuning in. Again, this episode is going a little longer than we anticipated. And then, if you're watching this is the perfect time. Shameless plug. Patreon.com/Slinks Block Party or YouTube member, starting at $4.99 a month. Because after this, we are immediately recording our what happened in the Saints draft room. We're going to talk about all the inner workings of what they tried to do, who was calling the shots during this draft, who they wanted in round 2. That's an episode you don't want to miss. We're going to do that. We're going to record that right after this episode. So become a Patreon, patreon.com/Slinks Block Party, or YouTube member, $4.99 a month. So you can listen. It's going to be a shorter episode, but we're going to hit that after we're done with this episode. Let's get to the second 4th-round pick that they had. And this was, I just said, I don't even know who this team is right now, Wolf. When they did this, I said, what is happening in my life? They drafted Bryce Lance, another wide receiver from North Dakota State, with the second 4th-round pick that they had. Just so many feelings I have. Just overall, bro.
I couldn't believe it.
What?
I could not believe it, bro. I was driving, trying to look at the draft while driving. I'm like, what? The Saints?
I know you lying to me.
What we said, they know when it's double dip. We kept saying, man, it would be nice if they double dip. The Saints ain't double dipping.
It'd be nice, bro.
Saints ain't double dipping on no wide receiver, bro.
It'd be nice. They triple dipped if you consider Brown, he's more special teams. We'll wrap up with him. They triple dipped at the wide receiver position.
Unbelievable.
You tweeted it. You said that Tulane tweet, bro, gonna go down in infamy, bro.
It's infamy, bro. It's crazy. That was the end right there. And just the fact they got this type of guy, you know what I'm saying? They didn't go get
thank you.
They didn't go get just the possession wide receiver in the 4th round. Nah, they got high upside, big.
They swung for the fences.
This was a guy who was on my radar too because Matt Harmon talked about him. He did a profile on him and just talked about
episode. Like a 22-minute episode, you can go check it out. Basically, I think the name of the episode is what will Bryce Lance be in the NFL? I watched it on my flight coming home. Great episode.
Yeah, man. And what he talked about is look, he's raw, but not as raw as you think. You know what I'm saying? He does some really, really nice things. And look, I mean, you can look at the speed and the size and all that stuff. That alone, just adds a dimension to this team that they sorely needed, bro. Sorely needed.
His 4.34 40, and I get it. It's a lower level of competition, and he played at North Dakota State. I get that. But even then, that it is so evident on film.
Yeah.
It is evident on film. And the thing I like about this pick, the Jordyn Tyson pick, is now you have these receivers can come in and learn and hone their ability, hone their route running, I know Matt Harmon talked about Bryce Lance being a cradle catcher, something that he needs to improve on, hone their ability to, hopefully improve their catching mechanics. And just when I think about this pick, it's just and again, Bryce Lance might be a little more developmental
Mm-hmm.
in terms of work. You know, it may take him a while, so he may be. I wouldn't surprise me at all if he becomes like inactive on game day and things like that. But he has this potential to. You put him as an X on one side of the field, then you have Tyson and Olave on the other side of the field. Then maybe you motion one from across the formation.
And like even using a Matt Harmon term, even if he's just like the sacrificial X, that's just running downfield, you know, opening things up for everybody else and keeping those safety pins back, that's a win. You know what I'm saying? But the thing about him is his athleticism and skill is so scary that he could give you something that's that sacrificial head. Like he could take some of those deep shots. And that was like, if you look at like all the pass charts for Tyler Shuck, his weakest area were like the downfield. And it's not that he was like, it wasn't part. We just didn't have the dogs. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not that he was inaccurate or anything like that. We just ain't have the dogs to do it. Now they got him, bro. Now they got him.
Thank you for saying that, because when they drafted him and I was watching that Matt Harmon episode and I watched his highlights, I just kept thinking, I don't know who did like the profile of Tyler Shuck or like where he was throwing the ball, but like that, like him outside and deep just didn't happen last season.
Nope.
And then I was like, it really felt like in this draft, all your like us watching the games, just our astute eyes, one watching the games, and then your deep breakdown of the offense from week 1 to week 18. All the things that we had concerns with, gripes with, all that. It's kind of refreshing to know that like we weren't fucking dumb. Like we weren't just like making this shit up in our heads of like, damn, this team needs to get better here. Because guess what? All the areas that we wanted them to get better in, they went out and like got better in all those areas in this offseason.
Unbelievable.
And that's the thing that people like to say that we're a negative pot. Fuck y'all. Fuck you. We call shit how we see it, and this is a situation where we call shit how we saw it, and guess what? The team saw it exactly how we saw it. Like, literally every move they've made has been in step to exactly how we saw it. Not saying that we're like football savants or anything like that.
Nope.
But it just was clear as fucking day. It was clear.
Clear, bro. And that's what's, like you said, man, that's what made this whole offseason so beautiful, because it made sense. It's like, okay, now you making sense. This pick here, bro, this pick floored me, bro. Like this, after having Delp, and then, okay, you go and get the guard, cool. Like, but at that moment, I'm like, cool with a guard. Offensive line, like, let's go. Let's go, baby. Like, I wasn't tripping at all. Then to follow that up with some more juice, bro. Oh, I was done, bro. I'm done. Just get me out of here, man.
Didn't know what to do with myself. Someone I know, like they talked about the comp for him being like kind of Christian Watson, same school, what have you. Like that's high praise. Like
very high praise. Yeah.
Just him to come in and learn the nuances, but also taking like having like I could see his career starting off kind of a little. When I was watching, I was like, man, you can use his speed to do a lot of things that Robert Meacham did in his tenure with the Saints.
That's a good one, then.
And just like his speed, because it just challenges the defense to be like, shit. Robert Meacham, like he would run these. He didn't run a lot of go routes, but he would run like these deep post routes all the time that would just open so much shit up in the intermediate area of the field for the Saints. And then what started to happen is that the teams would start to kind of sit closer, and that's when Sean would call that deep post. Reacher would clear that shit on. He'd be lined up on a safety, boom, boom, boom,
go on
over the top.
Like,
that's what I kind of saw. I was like, damn, he could bring and that's what would be great. Like early in his career, if Lance could be just kind of like that Meacham where he's opening things up, because his speed's going to scare defense.
You have to account for it. Like you have to account for that type of speed. And what's crazy is just some of the little bit I watched him in college. They had his big ass. I mean, he's doing damn near 6'4", and they had him doing like wide receiver screens and all that stuff. And he's running past defenses, bro. Like, I know it's lower level competition and everything, but I'm like, this is a big dude running past defenses on like wide receiver screens and bubble screens and shit like that. So I think they can get the ball in his hands early, bro. Like if he comes in and he's healthy, they could find ways to get the ball in the hand and utilize his speed.
Okay, we gotta dial it back with the homerism a little bit. Jack Hunter in chat said Bryce Lance is way better than Lance Moore potentially.
Oh,
slow down. Slow down. Like,
come on now,
please.
That's a Saints Hall of Famer right there, bro. Chill out.
And Poppin said Kellen Moore trying to bring that Eagle style of offense to the Saints. I'm glad you said that, Poppin Non, because I also went at this draft was happening. I was like, I could see a lot of that too, right? You have I don't know who, I mean, the Saints don't have their version of AJ Brown, right? No. But offensive line, okay, they built that kind of check. Not going to say they're going to have the best offensive line in football. No. Just be creative. But offensive line, got that. You have a running back, and I also think kind of putting a kind of tie on this is like I would likely think that AK is coming back. They didn't take a running back in the draft, like, so maybe he's gonna come back. So I know you have a two-headed monster at running back. Your Oscar Delp can maybe give you something Dallas Goedert-ish. Not saying he's gonna be Dallas Goedert, but like something along in that role. Mm-hmm. And now what I love about this offense the most is now the receiver room all has a role, just like we talked about, like a basketball team, right? Exactly. You want your receiver room to essentially have like a speed guy, possession guy, all that. They essentially have that now, right? Man. Like they have like the power forward in Bailey. Yep. They have like the speed home run hitter in Lance, potentially. With Tyson, you have like that kind of like he's kind of like a shooting guard, like a slasher that can just, do dynamic things. And I guess, I don't know what Chris Olave would be. Point guard? I don't know what Chris Olave, because kind of like, I would say maybe the point guard, because he's kind of like the start, like the engine, right? Like everything kind of starts with Chris Olave and then kind of goes out from him. Yeah. Someone said Tyson's going to be his AJ Brown. They are completely different players. They are completely, fundamentally not the same players. So we talked about Lance. Let's kind of wrap up these players. This is gonna be maybe the longest episode of SBP ever that we recorded. Someone asked, do you think Kellen Moore will surpass Sean Payton as the best head coach for the Saints in the future? Can he get to the playoffs first?
With 8 games?
Can we get to the playoffs first?
We loving him right now, but let's just take baby steps. Let's try to get a winning record this year.
Please. I really loved how they made concerted efforts at the end of this draft to improve the special teams of the Saints.
Love it, bro.
It was such a glaring hole and need for them last season, and they went and they drafted Lorenzo Styles, safety, converted wide receiver, I believe. Again, you talked about the juice, 4.2-ish speed, an athletic freak. Again, I think anything that you're going to get from him on the defensive side of the ball is going to be just a cherry on top. Like, I'm not saying that he can't do that, but like he's more of a developmental player, as a defensive player. But he's been a returner. He's going to hopefully be an excellent gunner just with his speed. And he has like that pedigree. He has that pedigree of just being Ohio State. His brother gets drafted 7th overall. His dad was a football player. Also, real quick side note, when the coach was talking to him, he said he's going to hand the phone over to the GM, Jeff Ireland.
That's going to be on the next episode there.
Okay. Anyway. And then they follow that up, Berrien Brown, wide receiver from LSU, who really just, man, if you watch his returns, oh my God. Like you could, and I don't want to do this because like what Rashid Shaheed did in his time with the Saints, like he was so explosive, but you can kind of squint and be like, okay, that same dynamic ability, I can see that being something that they wanted to, because it missed. After they traded Rashid Shaheed, people were saying, someone on Twitter told me that Mason Tipton was a good punt returner for them last year. I almost blocked that.
But look, man, like you said about the special teams, bro. Another portion of the team they addressed, which we complained about, was the special teams. I mean, starting with the beginning of the free agency, what they do, they went got a punter, one of the top 10 punters in the league. When
Ryan Wright.
Ryan Wright, I kind of forgot about it. I was like, oh yeah, they got that punter. They addressed that, which was a need. We had some of the worst punting last year in the league.
Ooh, ass.
So they went got a top 10 punter. They went drafted, Lorenzo Styles, and played special teams in college. You know what I'm saying? It should be one of your best gunners on the team. Somewhere we need it. You went drafted Barry Brown, one of the best kick returners in college. He's going to fill that need. Like, not to mention some of the other players you're picking up as UDFAs and stuff like that, bro. Completely changed their special teams, bro. The speed on special teams, the pointing ability, like that's amazing how they just went through and they identified that as a weakness on the team and to try to turn it into a strength. You know what I'm saying? Because they just didn't have that last year, bro. It was awful.
I love AI because I don't know what Barry Brown uniform.
I don't know what
his uniform is right now. But if you watch his highlights, he made some plays for Kentucky.
Yeah, man.
Where he looked very similar to Rashid Shaheed, like that dynamic what he brought.
LSU offense was just a disaster last year, bro. Like, it's hard to go watch LSU last year, so it's good to look at his Kentucky stuff. And at the Senior Bowl, bro. I remember him doing some stuff at the Senior Bowl during practice. I was like, damn, I'm like, why don't I know about this LSU kid? I was like, damn, he kind of balling out. So, like, what he'll do on offense, it's a crowded offense right now. We got too many wide receivers now. We got like 14 wide receivers, bro. 14.
Oh, now you can say there's only one football to go around. I remember that being said. 2020. I'm just saying.
So what he would do on offense right now is just like pushing the limit, but like he gives you again more juice, bro. Like, you can't ask for more juice, bro. I'm good. We juiced up.
Good. No, I'd be a little greedy. Maybe add another run. Anyway, God damn it. Finish the draft. Cornerback TJ Hall, a round 7 pick from Iowa. His 40 time wasn't good, but it seems like maybe he and Iowa plays a lot of zone coverage, plays a lot of cover 3. Oh, what does Brandon Staley like to run? A lot of zone coverage, a lot of cover 3. Listen, I'm not like if he doesn't he's a 7th round corner.
Yeah,
I'm not expecting him to be like a factor in the secondary, but if he could start on special teams and then maybe able to show you that he can actually play, that would be a huge boost. Because if you look at just where this team is, you can say that the areas of concern of this team at post draft is they still haven't really replaced the Alante Taylor star role snaps. So if that's going to come in-house, who knows? If there's a player out there that they may want to, pick up in free agency or after cuts happen, who knows? But that's an area of thing where they need to concern. And just overall, with just a secondary and the pass rush, it's still, I think it's lacking. You have Chase Young, you have Big Creep, you traded for Tyree Wilson. And then I do think underrated part of the pass rush is the Caden Ellis factor. Yeah. I don't think that's being accounted for enough when people talk about the pass rush. I think he's going to be a big role into that, especially on 3rd down. But if they can add another pass rusher somehow, maybe Cam Jordyn does come back. Maybe he sees what they did in the draft and in free agency. He's like, damn, I want to be a part. I kind of want to be a part of that one last time.
What else you got going on? Shit. Come on,
podcasting? Come on, bro. Idle hands keep you out of trouble.
Exactly.
Trying to help you out. Anyway, so that wraps up the 2026 Saints draft class. We're at an hour and 30 minutes. We doing it, Wolf. We're doing it. we got to record. But just overall conclusion thoughts as we wrap this episode up.
Bravo, Saints. Look, it's a draft. No one knows how it can turn out. You know what I'm saying? It can go down as one of the worst drafts in history. Once we look,
it would be hilarious, bro.
You just don't know, bro. You have no idea. But all we could do is look. We work really hard this off season, to provide you guys with content and to provide ourselves with knowledge We dove deep into the draft starting early last season, I want to say. Digging into draft picks, digging into not only quarterbacks, every position, wide receivers. We did our prospects of the week every week. We were digging into all 22.
Our first prospect of the week that we did, Wolf, was Jordyn Tyson,
Jordyn Tyson. And we drafted him.
What?
And we drafted him, man. Beautiful, bro.
What?
Beautiful. Ain't that lovely? So just bravo, man. They're like, as a content creator that covers the Saints, this was awesome. You know what I'm saying? Like this was a great draft. Cause I just enjoyed it. I enjoyed it.
If you go to our YouTube, or not YouTube, if you go to our Instagram, there's a picture of Wolf and I from the draft meetup. It's like the very end of the draft, and you could just we are so exhausted from the day, but also that exhaustion is also from everything,
bro.
But it's also a picture of just appreciation, gratitude, everything, from the draft process started essentially January. We start even till now, just man, we did that, and I don't know how it's going to turn up. Who knows? All these niggas, when I do the players and whatever, and I do a color, niggas all might be red, bro. It would just be hilarious and heartbreaking at the same time. But at least in this window, it feels really fucking good. Yep. And it feels really fucking good. And also gives, again, kind of just going back to we don't gaslight ourselves in terms of just thinking hey, are we crazy for thinking this team needs to get better at these? All the areas where we said that they needed to get better at, they literally have tried. We don't know how it's going to work out, but they've tried to get better at all those fucking positions. And it is just, it's really impressive and nice to see. But thank so many people for joining us with our 176 concurrent viewers. I think that's one of our highest concurrent viewers for an off-season podcast. I know we get pretty high during our post-game recaps. 950 views. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. We are now, I'm going to go downstairs and get some water real quick, but we are now going to, as soon as I come back upstairs, we're going to start recording the What Happened in the Saints draft room. It's going to be a very shorter episode. Going to try to keep it within 20, 30 minutes. If we can, we'll keep it within 20, 30 minutes. And talk about what almost happened in round one, what almost happened in round two, who was calling the shots during the draft, all of that. We're recording that right out this episode, patreon.com/Saints Block Party, or you become a YouTube member for $4.99 a month because it'll be posted after that. The link for the audience link is going to be shared in our Discord. So people who are Patreons or in our Discord, where I'm going to shoot that audience link to the Discord right now. But all that said, we appreciate y'all. We love y'all. We're going to start with our Rookie of the Week episode, hopefully starting next weekend. Jordyn Tyson, another breakdown of Jordyn Tyson with more footage for him. We got work to do. Work. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. We'll catch us on the What Happened in the Saints draft room episode. That's only going to be Patreon only. We're not going to release it to the full public. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. With that, we